Into the CHGO Bears Podcast. Happy Monday, Bears fans. Welcome in Adam Hoge alongside Mark Carman. Say hello, buddy.
Hi there, Adam.
Greg's Jr. in the house as well.
What up?
We were wearing the same shirt, so I put on my sweatshirt.
Poppy's here.
Poppy the puppy's in the house. There she is.
Please don't say her name. Don't act like she's here. Please, this will never happen again. It's actually a very unfortunate day for
You've
Poppy.
said that before.
No,
Yeah,
well, this is
it's gonna happen again.
No, it's not. This is the end, my friend. So this is the doors
Of Poppy?
It might be because Poppy keeps barking
If she barks
at the
one more time
Michael
like that,
Jordan stand-up.
She barked at Michael.
You can't be doing that.
She barked at Hoge.
That's
she barked
a
at Kevin.
fast-track ticket out of the way of Carm's house. You start barking at the Michael Jordan
I just had a
cut-out cardboard stand-up we have here in the studio.
We had a 30-minute conversation before the show about barking, and it just obviously did not register. So we're gonna do that. I'm here to focus on Justin Jefferson and DJ Moore and Matt Eberflus. A lot to talk about. Mandatory minicamp starts tomorrow.
All right.
I'm excited.
We are going to have fun with this, though, and I'm setting the over-under at Barks at 7.5 for the show. Starting now. The first ones didn't count. Starting now, 7.5. You take the over or the under. Oh, there's one. That was one. And our listeners can't hear it probably through the mic, but that was one.
I'm taking the under. You are going to settle down. We're here for an hour. You are going to be a good dog.
I mean, Poppy has been more feisty than normal today.
I don't understand what's happening.
She's looking me in the eyes right now.
That's the problem. She
Begging
loves
to come
Steven.
over here.
Yeah, I think we
We
already
have the over.
we already hit the over in the last 5
All
seconds.
right, nobody can hear it. It's great. Let's
All
go.
right, so there was some news this morning, and we, of course, will spin it towards the Bears. But by the way, hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please listen to all our podcasts. If you missed our recap episode of Friday's OTAs, go back and check it out. It was a nice day for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had himself a weekend, which we're going to talk about a little bit as well. But nobody's doing better this morning than Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, who got paid with a 4-year, $140 million contract that gets him $110 million guaranteed. That is $35 million per year. There's a wide receiver record, topping A.J. Brown's deal, and it is a non-QB record. He is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the entire league, surpassing what Nick Bosa had received when he became the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. So, Justin Jefferson, very good at football, very annoying in the NFC North.
25 years old.
And not going anywhere, unlike when they traded Stephon Diggs and drafted Justin Jefferson, which has turned out to be a brilliant move for the Vikings.
It's interesting because I don't think that Bears fans are reacting like, oh, no, Justin Jefferson is staying. Like, you knew that this was going to go the way the Vikings had no interest in dealing him. But I actually look at deals like this in general as a positive for the football team that I root for, because you are now pot committed. These contracts, sometimes they work out, but most times they don't. And I would have paid Justin Jefferson if I was in Minnesota spot. I would have been screaming. If we were doing a Vikings podcast, I would have been screaming to pay him. But out of the other part of my brain, I would be worried that in the end, it's not going to work out. He's going to get hurt. The production's going to go down, all of it. These are high-risk deals, even when you're 25 and you're as good as Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I was going to say, for him, though, this seems pretty low risk. I mean, other than him having that hamstring deal, it was a hamstring, right? This past year, he missed a bunch of time.
He missed a bunch of time last year, dude. I mean,
yeah,
you
but
know.
I mean,
Played 9 games, I want to say.
he's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think there's an argument that could be made that, you know, paying that much for a wide receiver yearly isn't good business for a team. I obviously can understand why Minnesota had no choice, but until they really know who J.J. McCarthy is, I guess the argument can be made, since they're on a rookie contract with him. Now is the time to get ahead of that, which is why, you know, once we, you know, put this into a DJ Moore phrase, I feel similar in that sense. Like, I understand DJ has a couple more years left on his contract, but like line up your receivers with your quarterback now. Yeah. And Rome Odunze is on a lined up rookie contract with Caleb Williams, and why not DJ Moore? So from the Vikings standpoint, it's a lot of money. You look at the best teams in the NFL that already have proven quarterbacks, proven commodities. The Kansas City Chiefs obviously let Tyreek Hill walk. Yes, they have Travis Kelce. They have Andy Reid, but the Bills, you know, they don't spend big on wide receiver. They let Stephon Diggs go. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they don't invest a ton into the wide receiver. They do have Mark Andrews and good play callers, but, you know, at the same time, until the Vikings know they have a quarterback, you know, paying that much for Justin Jefferson, it doesn't scare me. I understand why the Vikings did it, though.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the timeline. Like, they're not going to have to pay their quarterback. They chose to let Kirk go or whatever. They didn't. Kirk left, however you want to put it. And they have the luxury of paying him with a young QB, which Kansas City did not with Tyreek Hill, because, you know, at least they did for a little bit, but then they had to pay Patrick and ended up with Tyreek in Miami.
Well, what's interesting is, so this news came across this morning. I was at Midtown having a nice little breakfast.
Shout out Midtown. Love Midtown.
You know what did not pop in my head at any moment was, should the Bears pay DJ Moore? But I walked in here, and that's the first thing you guys brought up.
Bragg's topic, like it.
But let's just, and I immediately was like, well, I'm going to save my thoughts on this for the show. But so tee up, Greg, like why your head was immediately on DJ Moore.
Well, I mean, I guess for two reasons. One, like I said earlier, I want to line up the money in the years with Caleb Williams' rookie contract. The value of having a quarterback like Caleb on a rookie contract is that you can pay the rest of your team now. That's how the Seahawks went on to win a Super Bowl with their Legion of Boom and all the great players that were on Russell Wilson. And then I guess the other reason is get ahead of it now. Give him the money either this summer or before the season ends, because if he puts up the kind of numbers, and I understand DJ Moore's already put up great numbers in this league, but if he puts up, you know, big-time numbers with Caleb Williams at the helm, and the Bears are this great team that now they got to start paying other guys as well, now all of a sudden you're putting yourself behind the eight ball on who you're going to pay and how much you got to pay them. The wide receiver market obviously is what it is. You're paying wide receivers an insane amount of money. So I'm going to try to get ahead of it and get as much as I can value-wise now. Obviously, DJ Moore will still demand a lot of money, but he could demand a hell of a lot more if he goes out and has an unbelievable season.
So I guess I just don't understand when the rush. DJ Moore's got 2 years left on a deal that now looks like it already was a bargain, and now it looks like an incredible bargain. He's making 16.
Right.
He's making less than half of what Justin Jefferson's getting. Justin Jefferson's a better wide receiver, but DJ Moore is still really, really good. And I don't know what the rush would be.
Does linking up the rookie contract make any sense to you?
But you already have that with Rome Odunze.
Right.
Okay, so let's assume Caleb Williams works out. You're paying him 4 years from now, maybe even 3 years from now, depending on how you want to handle that. If you're extending DJ Moore, you're going to be tacking on at least 3 years to the remaining 2. All I'm foreseeing is a problem of paying Rome Odunze if he works out, because you're not going to pay for 2 really good wide receivers when you have the quarterback contract. Part of the math here on why the Vikings can pay Justin Jefferson now compared to when they didn't pay Stephon Diggs and they traded him instead was because they were paying Kirk Cousins $45 million guaranteed every year. Now they don't have to pay that. So I just don't see a world in which you're going to be able to afford 2 big wide receiver contracts and Caleb Williams at the same time. And I guess my point is, let this all play out for at least a season. What does DJ Moore look like right now? What does Keenan Allen look like? Are they going to try to extend him after a year? I mean, there's no momentum to do that right now because they don't need to. Is Rome Odunze going to even be good? I mean, we all think he is. We all love the draft pick. But let's at least see what 1 year of tape looks like for all three of these guys together with this young quarterback before you rush to commit any piece of the pie beyond the next 2 years to DJ Moore.
Well, it's getting more and more challenging, I would think, for GMs because the salary cap keeps on going up and up, so there's more room. But the quarterback market completely exploded. Now the wide receiver market has exploded to the point that Justin Jefferson's getting $35 million a year. DJ is now the 16th highest paid wide receiver. If you like the way at least Front Office Sports is doing, and they're pulling their numbers from Spotrac, the way they compute it, and the NFL contracts are always confusing, but they have him listed at $20 million, 20.6, which puts him 16th, right in front of Mike Evans 17th, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, all in that range. And then, ahead of Christian Kirk, who just got paid. Darnell Mooney's actually the 27th highest paid wide receiver in the game. That's a hell of a job by Darnell Mooney for everything that he's done. Long-winded way of just saying that you got to where I was getting to. The first decision they got to make, the Bears have to make, is with Keenan Allen. Does he end up fitting in here and being productive? And then what kind of short-term deal could you possibly make with Keenan Allen if you want to keep him? That's going to be first up. Then from there, they're going to have to look long and hard at DJ. And I would think, he'll be 28 at the end of this deal. I would think you'd want to do another 3-year deal with him. And what's the number on that? I think it's going to be somewhere between 25 to 30 million, you would think. That's where that one's going to land. And if he keeps on going the way he's going, I think the Bears will pay it, but they're going to have to get creative elsewhere.
When they extended Cole Kmet, was that in his contract year? Or was there I'd have to go back and look.
Last year was his fourth season. So
right.
It was going into his fourth
They
season.
were also offering Darnell Mooney in his contract year money reportedly going into.
Yeah, and they had the Jaylen Johnson thing.
Right. So, obviously waiting till his final year. They're not going to, next summer, then this becomes a legitimate conversation that they have to pay him before you go into the year, right? That's all I'm trying to say is get ahead of it because that price might go up. It just seems like the money keeps going up and up and up and up. I don't know what his comparable would be. To me, what does Amon-Ra St. Brown make? We were talking about this last week. To me, they're very similar players.
Well, didn't he just get 30?
Right. He just got paid.
APY?
Amon-Ra's the third highest paid wide receiver.
He's not
30 point.
Right.
Just
He's not
over 30.
making that much more off of Justin Jefferson, right?
Jefferson's at 35. A.J. Brown's at 32. Amon-Ra's at 30.002. Tyreek Hill is at 30. Jalen Waddle's 28.
We were having the debate, Carman and I, last week, who's the better player, DJ or Amon-Ra? And he was like, Amon-Ra, clearly.
Yeah, we had this discussion on the practice field the other day. If you were to have to pick all the skill talent between the Lions and the Bears, what would the order be? And I think everybody was like, yeah, Amon-Ra's number one.
Really?
Yes.
I think DJ and Amon-Ra are a wash talent-wise. I really do. I don't think he's that much better than DJ Moore. I think they bring exactly the same to the table.
Well, okay. Well, let's have the discussion then with that thinking. So you want to commit $30 million per year to DJ Moore right now to his age 29, 30, and 31 seasons?
Right.
You're convinced right now that 2 years from now he's going to be worth double than what he is now. You have no doubts about that.
None.
29, 30, 31 years
old.
No,
you see the production
he's
done with Sam Darnold and Justin Fields.
What if Rome Odunze becomes Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Right. That's.
Do you need to commit that money? That's my point. Where
you're saying in 2 years they're not going to pay DJ Moore because they have Rome Odunze?
No, I'm just saying. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the roster is going to look like. I don't know what Caleb Williams is going to look like. The point is just that I'm not in a rush right now to commit $30 million a year to a 30-year-old wide receiver.
I just want to lock up this core for on the Caleb Williams clock, which is the next 5 years. Rome's locked into this next 5 years.
I just think you're missing the fact that Amon-Ra, I believe, is 3 years younger than DJ Moore. That makes a big difference.
I like where you're thinking about the Caleb clock, but you don't really know, when they're actually, if he's good, when they're going to pay him. What's the earliest they could pay him? It's after year 3, right?
Yes.
Right. That's what he was saying. So if DJ would get paid next summer, theoretically. I don't think they'd wait for DJ's contract to completely run out.
Why not?
Seems
they might. I mean,
that seems.
Now, if you're telling me DJ Moore is willing to sign up for a huge discount for 3 more years stacked on, that's a different conversation. And those last couple of years you can get out of, that's a different conversation. But I just think that this whole conversation makes more sense a year from now, unless DJ is willing to do that. But I'm guessing he's not.
And that's the tricky dance, by the way, because if you start going down that road and you try to get him to sign a team-friendly deal, then he could end up in the same spot where Jaylen Johnson was at one point, thinking that the Bears were disrespecting him.
Which is our next topic.
We have a $5 super chat here from PB. What would be the scenario where you wouldn't want to extend DJ? I'm with Braggs. Extend him now. I'm going to actually bring up some numbers on why the Bears might be better suited not to do that this season, but I'll say that until after our break.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, sometimes things need to change. But one thing that doesn't?
It's damn right it doesn't.
The great taste of Miller Lite. The original light beer, and to this day, still the best one. Miller Lite has more of the taste you want, less of the stuff that you don't. I had some Miller Lights over the weekend. I had a Miller Lite on the show Friday after practice.
I had a Miller Lite at Adam Hoge's on Friday.
You did have a Miller Lite.
It's delicious.
There's still a few left in there, although not many. It's good times. I like when your kids are little, the birthday parties just are really adult parties for the most part. And then you can just have Miller Lite and make the great moments even better. And the great taste of Miller Lite, that's why I pick it as my favorite, best light beer. It's the go-to all the time, especially this time of year when it's starting to get hot out. You just need something a little lighter and refreshing. And Miller Lite just keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that tastes like beer, less filling and only 96 calories, the original light beer since 1975. No matter how your team changes, you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football. That's MillerLite.com/CHGO football. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces.
And you may have heard, and you might be excited about it. We're excited about it. We're going to London. We're going there via True Fan Travel. We want you to come. We got a flight to London for you. We got 4 to 5-star hotel accommodations. We've got a welcome event at a London pub to be determined. We've got a private boat cruise, which is going to be sweet. We've got an all-inclusive tailgate party. We've got an upper-level ticket to the Bear game. We got transportation for you. We've got on-site trip coordinators. His name is Greg Braggs. We've got breakfast at the hotel every morning. We've got meet and greets. Go to truefantravel.com.
I got lost in Indianapolis. You don't want me to be the coordinator.
You just...
I live in India.
I believe in you. You can do it. True Fan Travel is your passport to the world of sports.
We actually have an event coordinator just shadowed to Greg the whole time. Just to make sure you can get around the city.
Greg's the event coordinator. Exclusive meet and greets with former players. You're going to have a great time, and True Fan Travel does it better than anybody. Check them out, truefantravel.com. Make that deposit. Come join us. Braggs will be drunk the whole time.
Yes.
Well, maybe not when he's sleeping. Well,
he'll be sleeping it off.
That's definitely what I'll be doing.
I take that back. That made no sense.
Guys, before we wrap our DJ Moore extension discussion, I just want to drop some numbers. I did a little research on why I think it might be better for the Bears to wait one season going into his contract year. And it has a lot to do with Caleb Williams, actually. I'm looking at rookie quarterbacks and what their top wide receivers have done. If you look, since 2010, there's been 28 quarterbacks selected in the top 10. 10 of them were the number 1 overall pick. Only 3 receivers reached 100 receptions in a season. One of them was Keenan Allen, actually, with Justin Herbert. The other 2 were Reggie Wayne and Adam Thielen. And only 7 receivers eclipsed 1,000 yards since 2010 with a rookie quarterback selected in the top 10. So, I mean, I guess my point here is, especially with a number of mouths to feed, DJ Moore might not see the type of season he did last year, and you might be able to get him at a better rate because of that, even though it's not necessarily his fault.
So is that the sales pitch that I make to DJ to give us a little bit of a bargain deal? Because there's so many mouths to feed. You got Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett and Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, and
DJ,
DeAndre
do you like
Swift.
winning? If so, sign here on a bargain, and we're going to make it happen.
Hey, just a memo on DJ for everybody, and I like where your head's at here, Steven, but the dude just showed up to OTAs. Why are you here? Well, 200 grand. He's going to look at you sideways if you think that he's taken, I would guess, any major discount in the middle of his prime when he's putting up 1,300 yards last year, with Justin Fields, who, with all due respect to everybody out there, and respect to Justin, but come on. He hasn't played with a premier quarterback in the league, and he's put up big-time numbers. I don't think you're getting some major deal from DJ Moore when he knows that he'll be a free agent at 28.
I don't think so
going
either.
Into his 29th season, Gary Ross.
If you're doing this like an arbitration hearing, I think the Bears would have to argue why they should not be paying him $30+ million, and maybe not necessarily a down year, but not quite the 1,300 yards would be a good reason why.
Yeah. Also, just not to be too much into the Bears' social media choices, but they made him Ferris Bueller. They put him in the front of everything. Seems like a guy that they're pretty pot committed to for a while. I mean, things can change real quick. I get it, but they clearly are. They clearly are.
Yeah, and typically I don't expect any player to take a deal, a bargain. Yeah. They're trying to get top dollar. Justin Jefferson, does that hamstring their team a little bit? Yeah. Is he getting his? Yeah. That's how these contract negotiations work. They're going to get theirs.
Well, let's switch the discussion over to somebody who did get paid, and that's Jaylen Johnson. And a story out this morning in The Athletic from Dan Pompey, writing the story that, frankly, I think should have been done by Mark Carman. And
this is
a little disappointed that Mark didn't dig deeper, since he clearly had so much interest in it.
I never thought that I was going to learn about the things that I learned about in Dan Pompey's article. You can set it up, and then I'll...
Well, before we get to all of the stuff you want to talk about, I'm going to talk about the football side of some of this, because I do think that there's some interesting things that bring up some fair questions. But the gist of the story is it's a mixture of some of the personal stuff that Jaylen Johnson's been battling and going through and getting, his family in order, and has made a lot of progress there, which is great. And he talked about he offered it up in his press conference after signing this contract that he'd been battling with a sex addiction. So that's part of this. But we also get some really interesting insight from Jaylen on his personal feelings with the organization as these contract negotiations were happening. And this is pretty rare, I feel like, because I feel like more times than not, deal gets done, guy gets paid, all that stuff kind of...
It's all love.
It's all love from that point. And now, in this interview and in a couple of the interviews Jaylen's done, he's showing a lot of vulnerability and willingness to speak candidly, which obviously we really do appreciate. But a couple tidbits from this.
And snidbits.
I like snidbits.
Snidbits
is a good one.
That's a big-time move by us. We're going to... Sponsorship available for Snidbits. Who's in?
Seems like a Sunnyside.
Sunnyside Snidbits.
They probably sell some Snidbits.
Let's get you high on some Snidbits right now. Go ahead.
This is from Pompey's story. Since his rookie training camp, Johnson has not been shy about questioning or challenging authority, and that has not changed over time. Johnson is his quote then. Clearly, I was one of the top guys on the team. So with that, should have come a sense of respect. I shouldn't have to prove myself in everything. Don't play with me. We're grown men. I didn't feel valued. from the coaching staff. Now, a couple things that come up a few times in this story. Johnson had only one interception in his first 39 games, which was something that the coaching staff was challenging him to do, take the ball away more. So there was that part of it. It also, Pompey brought up how Jaylen Johnson chose to sit out the voluntary portion of practices 2 years ago, which I found very interesting at the time because with a new coaching staff, that can put you behind the eight ball a little bit, and it appears that it did. Remember, Jaylen Johnson got demoted to the twos for a little bit because he's so good. He earned that spot back very quickly. But it just is very obvious reading the story that Jaylen Johnson, Matt Eberflus, and the coaching staff were butting heads.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
They were not seeing eye to eye.
Even the GM in the contract negotiations.
Yeah, and there's this one. So the Bears reopened negotiations after Jaylen Johnson got those 2 interceptions against the Raiders last year. Johnson said their offers were very disrespectfully low. The players they compared me to, there's no way you can compare me to those players. One of them was Minnesota's Byron Murphy, which is hilarious.
He said that too.
Yeah,
that's in the quote.
Yeah, Byron Murphy just catching a stray here, which is awesome. We kept losing, and then they weren't showing interest in bringing me back. I wasn't happy with the culture and how we were losing, so I asked for a trade. I'll let you guys read. I don't want to, give away Pompey's whole story, but those are the big kind of quotes I wanted to pull out here to talk about. So go check out the entire story in The Athletic. It's well done, as pretty much everything Dan Pompey's ever written in his entire life. Never had one bad story.
I'm very similar to Dan. We do great work together.
No.
No. It's a basic. You will respect my written articles. Keep going.
What do you make of Jaylen Johnson openly saying he wasn't happy with the culture? Which, that one's big to me.
Yep.
Because, through all this the last couple of years, we've been giving Matt Eberflus some credit for kind of holding things together despite all the losing. Now, I also think the timeline here is important to remember. The Bears did suck last year until they got Montez Sweat.
Right.
So, and that was at the trade deadline. And then Jaylen Johnson took his game to the next level. And that's when they started winning some football games. You could start to feel things change. But sometimes I feel like we forget how god-awful it was when the Bears started 0-4 last year and how much you had the Allen Williams thing, so his defensive coordinator's out, you got the contract thing. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not terribly shocked that Jaylen Johnson wasn't in a place of happiness in with his situation in those moments.
Still, though, I got the vibe last year that he did not want to be here. This somewhat confirms that. It's certainly I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because the Bears had leverage towards Jaylen Johnson in what they could do with his contract and being able to make him stay here, whether he wanted to play here or not. But I guess I'm happy they were able to come to a resolution despite him feeling disrespected. He didn't like that he got benched, a couple of years ago. I do find it interesting when you combine that story with Jaylen getting benched and Tyreek Stevenson talking about him losing reps, not hustling to the football. You're starting to see, more and more examples of the Eberflus way of coaching, and I'm excited to see that behind-the-scenes look when we get to watch that at Hard Knocks. But, to me, Jaylen Johnson, obviously earned his money, but I'm surprised and relieved they were able to figure it out here in Chicago.
So I'm trying to figure out what's real here too, because I've been a lot keyed in to listening to the head coach talk at different points and wondering, is there any way that this guy is really resonating with the Chicago Bears? And last year when they demoted JJ, I was like, are you out of your mind? You're making Jaylen Johnson second string?
That was 2 years ago.
Whatever. Whenever they did it, I was like, This isn't. We all know that Jaylen Johnson is starting quarterback on this team, one of the best players on the team. You're going to make him the second string. Who are you to try to, flex yourself on a player of that caliber? It didn't make sense, and of course, not surprising, as Pompey writes, he was pissed about it, and he should have been. And then, even when he got paid in this article, I thought it was interesting. And I don't want to give away the whole article. You should subscribe to The Athletic. I'm a subscriber. Love the work over there. They got a good podcast over there, too. I think Hoge's on it. Guy by the name of Adam Johns. The Bears asked him to come to Hallis Hall to announce the $76 million deal, with which the 47.8 guaranteed. Johnson was willing, but only if the team commissioned a private jet to fly him and his loved ones from his hometown of Fresno, California. He wasn't willing to fly first class and bring my people because maybe he wanted to have the entire conversation that he had. But he just got paid, and he still wanted a nice, full private plane. I'll do it. You guys send me a private plane. If that was me, I'd be like, yeah, is there a flight for me, or do you need me to drive from California? This dude wanted a private plane. So I still think there's like
a little bit of
something.
I'm gonna flex back on you since you guys flexed on me.
Yeah, you paid me, but
flex on you.
Yeah, you want me to come and be all celebratory about this? Well, I need a private plane. And I want my whole family to come because this means a lot to me.
Well, and it just goes to show you, like, at the end of the day, it's a business, and as much as you want it, like in football, there's this culture of brotherhood and everybody loves each other. But obviously, Jaylen's being open about friction, and there's a little bit of flexing going on, and naming out Byron Murphy and saying I want a private jet and things like that. But at the end of the day, he still signed the contract. Well, and he still wants to play here. So,
and here's the part I think is getting sort of lost in all this. So, I guess I'm going to take Jaylen at his word that they were offering Byron Murphy money. Byron Murphy, 2 years, $17.5 million contract. So,
if you go just by the numbers, they're very similar, the two.
So, but do we think that that's because the Bears ended up?
What do you mean by that?
It's amount of tackles, amount of interceptions.
I see.
And which is a completely ridiculous way to look at it.
I thought you meant contract numbers.
No, but if you just look at this, if you look at their numbers,
but regardless of all that, do you really think the Bears were offering him essentially half of what he ended up getting, both in years and dollars? Way less than half of what he ended up getting. Because that, I agree, would be very, very disrespectful. But the irony is, and I hope that his agent figured this out, and maybe is one of the reasons why they ended up coming to terms when it was all said and done. If they were offering Byron Murphy money and then turning around when he requests a trade and says, we're only trading you for a first-round pick.
Massive hypocritical.
Well, it's hypocritical is a word, or it's called a negotiation. And the Bears had to show their cards for how they truly valued him, which I believe we had that discussion at the time when we learned that information. That in some ways, by demanding a trade and not getting it, Ryan Poles and company had to show how they truly valued Jaylen Johnson, which was, we don't want to lose you. All those things he said leading up to all this, we love Jaylen Johnson, we don't want to lose him. That was true when they said, we're only going to trade if a team gives us a first-round pick. Also in this story, credit to, I guess Jaylen told Dan this straight up, the 49ers, which would have brought him very close to home. I think that would have been an attractive destination for him. And the Buffalo Bills were the two teams that were heavily involved in actually trying to trade for him. But at the end of the day, neither team was willing to give up a first-round pick, which on the flip side sort of gives you a sneak peek, too, at how the rest of the league is valuing Jaylen Johnson at the time. You're a second-round talent, which is where you were drafted, and it all made sense to just let this thing play out. Jaylen, to his credit, balled out the rest of the season. They had to use the franchise tag as a negotiating tool, and at the end of the day, they got the deal done.
Quickly, too. This could have easily dragged into the summer, into training camp. They could have done a stand-up instead, a week into free agency or less? 2 days?
Yes, all true. It worked out in the end. And And maybe they were negotiating Hoge, to your point. Clearly they were. But, Poles also said at the time, we looked at it like if we can get a late first-round pick, that's how we're valuing you. And I thought that was a borderline shot at Jaylen. If I'm Jaylen Johnson, you're saying, oh, really? I'm a top 5 corner, top 3 corner in the game in my mind, and you're telling me that you think that I'm worth a late first-round pick? I mean, if I'm him, I'm thinking, get the F out of here, dude. I'm way better than a late first-round pick. I'm a top 10 pick. That's how I would think he would think.
I think Drew Black makes a good comment in the chat saying, don't forget, Cliff Stein was fired. Perhaps he's a little more to blame for these offers, or at least there's a variable there to consider.
There was another comment that I took interest in. I think it was Frank who said something like, Carm, maybe the tough love brought out the best in JJ and he played great and got paid, and you're railing on the coach. Maybe. You can look at it like that, Frank. Maybe they did. Maybe they pushed him, and that was the strategy. We're going to tweak him. We're going to bench him. We're going to talk about his lack of interceptions to get the best out of him, and maybe they thought that would motivate him. You can.
Well, that's my point. It all worked out.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like, and so if people want to flip this into a Matt Eberflus criticism, this dude's been preaching takeaways since he got here. That guy wasn't taking the ball away. He started taking the ball away. They paid him. Like, this doesn't have to be that complicated.
Right.
Just to back up for 2 seconds, though, let's not throw Cliff Stein under the bus here. I'm pretty sure Matt Feinstein was handling negotiations last year. At that point, he kind of taken over. And the Cliff Stein thing is clearly a Kevin Warren took over the organization, and wanted his own guys in there. So that's a different thing.
I mean, where I get to with the whole thing, just reading the article, is that the Bears have a ton going for them, starting with the rookie quarterback, along with the wide receiver that they traded for last year with the number 1 pick, and falling into Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick, and Rome Odunze, and a great second-round draft pick trade for Montez. So they got a ton going for them. But it also, as far as the culture being brought up in this article, it also reminds me, they're not there yet, and they still did win 7 games last year, and there's a lot to be put together here. And to me, it just, the culture, comments, and everything else, the spotlight to me is very much on the head coach. Is he going to be able to take all the talent that's in the room, blend it together, and have the Bears be a playoff team this season?
Well, and like I said, as much as there's the goofiness or awkwardness at times that you see on camera with Matt Eberflus, there's a couple instances there with Tyreek Stevenson and Jaylon Johnson in that secondary room where he showed some tough love, and they both responded in a positive way on the football field. So, obviously, Eberflus is under the microscope this year, but there's a couple points there of evidence that, he is doing a good job coaching here behind the scenes. So, Jaylon Johnson bet on himself, and you guys should all bet with Circa Sportsbook. Tight money line splits, low hold model. Games try to be a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu. That's right. I'm professional. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, the most professional on this set. Unlike other sports books, which may use a -115 or a -120 split, Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to the other books. Very transparent. Adam Hoge. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. I encourage all bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available. Go compare the lines from each sports book yourself. No one better than Circa Sportsbook. Customer service second to none in all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates, including our Friday 120 clubs. We were just there on Friday. When I get back from Florida, we'll be doing it again with a live event afterwards, so be on the lookout for those. And if you or someone you may know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
And another one of our great partners, Sunnyside. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore. Discover and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside is everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city, like Wrigleyville, River North, to the suburbs, and even beyond, like Champaign, South Beloit, and more. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands we know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. And if you're a pro, they've got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu, new ones added weekly. And we know you'll love Cresco and FloraCal's incredible quality and consistent products. It's easy to order online, and they'll help you right there in store as well. So head to sunnyside.shop and use this code, HICHGO, at checkout for 35% off favorite brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. One last thing about all this culture talk, because this pretty much applies to any team I've ever been a part of or watched or covered. Culture's an important thing, and it starts at the ground up, but it's never going to get going in full force unless you win football games. Just win games in general. You can have the right thing, but at some point, the results need to start to turn for people to really believe in what you're preaching. And so I just think keeping in mind that timeline last year with the losing and the trade deadline and all this stuff, if it was so bad that Jaylen Johnson didn't believe in it, then he wouldn't have signed the contract. He would have played on the franchise tag. He would have made a lot of money this year. He maybe would have held out and requested a trade, tried to force one in August, which you can always do when you're on the tag.
I'm not saying he doesn't believe in it, but that's a lot of risk. You know, they're offering you $46 million, $47 million guaranteed. I'm going to bet on myself and play. You know?
I think this is clearly about respect and money.
Yes. I don't disagree.
I think trying to make it out to be like wait a minute, is the culture not good? Is a little.
No. Pay me.
Yeah.
Pay me. 100%.
I think we can keep it pretty simple. All right. Well, there's no culture like the culture in the left field bleachers on Fridays at 1:20.
It's lovely. It's lovely out there.
It's the greatest culture that exists.
Team on the field, sucking.
Every time I check Twitter on a Friday about 2:30, there's a CHGO sports tweet of Braggs leading some chant in the outfield.
It's typically a Green Bay sucks chant.
I mean, can we pull up the picture of Gregory with his tank top and his cigar? And
that
That
was sent to me by a couple people this weekend.
I mean, that was one of the more frightening moments in the history of this organization / show. Gregory, how many drinks would you say? I know you were with your daughter, so I'm sure you were.
Yeah, I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure you were completely.
Had a few, but at that point, that was way after the game, so I had been done for a while. So,
Steven, don't worry about it.
Please pull it up.
We have 6 things ready. If he wants to throw some random thing at you, he can send it to you himself.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Yeah,
I know where it is. I got you.
The point of this conversation, as Carm tries to derail it with Braggs' arms showing in a photo, which I'm all for.
It's worth it. I'm sorry.
Is it started a whole debate about the Green Bay sucks chant.
Yeah, there was a guy wearing a shirt, an obvious shirt, said Green Bay sucks. So we started chanting Green Bay sucks at him. Now, we had done this a few weeks ago when, Caleb, had just been drafted. Everybody's celebrating. The Brewers fans were in town, so a lot of Packers fans are in the building. So we were having fun with them. It's a chant that happens a lot in this city. So, sorry.
In fact, it actually happened Saturday night, too.
Yeah.
At a local establishment
Yep.
in Wrigleyville. And there's no evidence that he was really totally chanting it out loud, but he certainly was a participant in egging it on. But your quarterback of the Chicago Bears, here's a little video.
Green Bay sucks! Green Bay sucks! Green Bay sucks! Come on!
So for those listening to the podcast can't see the video, Caleb Williams, what bar were they?
Old Crow.
Old Crow.
One of your favorites, Hoge.
And there's a few videos of Caleb there. Now, the rookies were all at the Cubs game Saturday night. That's the night the game went really late, too, right?
Huge rain delay, yes, ended
Yeah.
like whenever it ended, very late.
So, anyway, a lot of people saying that you shouldn't be chanting Green Bay sucks, but then there's Caleb Williams the next night at a bar enjoying the chant.
Which was ironic because, yes, have we overcooked the ham on social media with our Green Bay sucks chants in the bleachers? Maybe. But, between Packers Twitter coming at us about chanting it, rent free, you guys are talking about us, we're not even there, whatever, fine. Yes, I think rent free. I do think about the Packers. They are our division rivals and, the mountain that we have to overcome over the last 20 years. And if I want the Bears to win the division, it probably is going to have to go through Green Bay. So, yeah, I do think about the Green Bay Packers. Sue me. But then there's this other divide between Bears fans, those that walk through the tunnel as they go to the south gate at Soldier Field or chanting it at Old Crow or even in the bleachers at Wrigley, versus the other segment of Bears fans that think that it's obnoxious or it's stupid or it's bad karma because we've lost 10 in a row to the Green Bay Packers and we shouldn't chant until we beat them.
Yeah. Well, so to me, there's two conversations here. One is, should the fans do it? If you want to get into the weeds on, should Caleb Williams be doing a Green Bay sucks chant before he's ever played a game? First of all, I think the circumstances of that matter. It seems like he was sort of being featured on a little small stage or something there.
No, he had just walked in the front door of Old Crow. Him and Roma Dunze are standing right next to each other, and the fans were chanting MVP at him.
Yeah.
And then they started chanting Green Bay. They're just chanting
so I guess my point is, what's he supposed to do?
Right.
Please stop chanting that at me.
Everyone be quiet and then have a TED talk about how we're going to beat Green Bay first.
Right. Now, if he was I don't know, on the stage at the night he got drafted, he could go Green Bay sucks right away. That would be a different conversation.
Well, no, but this is the same guy that once painted his fingernails at FU Utah, right? And then they ended up losing to Utah after that, too. So he does have a history of going at rivals. So, I don't think he's opposed to that kind of.
It's chanting or painting your fingernails has no outcome on the game.
Correct.
Okay, let's just establish that. Please.
But fans, they don't think, we're not
There's
like
no
that.
jinxing anything. And if anything, they're 0-10 in their last games against the Packers. You might as well try jinx or whatever.
I'm very superstitious, and I do believe in karma and things of that nature. I'm very superstitious about my teams. I'm always trying to will my team to win. I wear certain things. I think certain things are bad luck. Sitting in certain places in the studio when we watch the game, I have to move if the mojo doesn't feel right.
It's very weird.
Yeah, I know. But I think a lot of fans are like this. They have their process, and if their process is different, then it changes the momentum of the game. It does. It's in our head. But I will say this. Once your team is so good that they are, the team that's going to win you a championship, all that superstition seems to go out the window, and you stop caring about those things that you're trying to will into existence.
Okay, the superstitious stuff is, let's just call it what it is. It's more about you and people that do that. They just want attention and they need attention on them. It's okay.
Not attention.
I actually disagree with you.
Most superstitions I don't speak about.
Stop making this a thing between you two. The thing.
It's not about us.
He did.
I know he did. I'm talking to him. Just stop it.
Okay.
Second,
I'm talking to Cap. Cap does it too. It's him.
disagree. I disagree with what you just said a couple minutes ago or moments ago. I actually think the superstition stuff is actually more valid when you're a good team. Like the other day, the Brewers wore their throwbacks. They win a game. Wear them the next day. Don't mess with that. Why would you mess with something that's going well? That to me applies more than when you just suck all the time and you're like, oh, if I maybe
That is such a non-Adam Hoge take. You would say the jerseys that you wear have nothing to do with of winning.
That's what I believe, but why would you mess with it if things are going well? Is my point.
Because it doesn't matter, and today's a new day, and the jersey doesn't matter. Not a logical person.
This is so Carman.
Yeah.
He acts like this only towards football. But if we were talking about Northwestern basketball or your fucking tennis game, you have superstitions. Don't even.
I don't. I don't. First of all, like if you're talking about like when we're running on the softball diamond tonight, sponsored by Charlie the Bacon Guy, going to be 2-0 and we kill Chicago public media, am I worried about touching the lines or anything like that? And
You're clearly not worried about talking shit before the game.
No, I'm not, because they're terrible. But like I've had those moments, but I also know in my heart that whether I touch this line or don't touch this line has nothing to do with anything. I don't.
You're missing the point of what I'm saying. I agree with that, but why mess with it? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Sure, fine, great.
Don't give yourself a reason to think about it in retrospect.
That's fine.
If something goes wrong, you can be like, it's an easy thing, just done this.
Easy thing to do. Don't mess with it. Fine. I'm with you. But back to the point of Caleb walking into a bar and they're streaming Green Bay sucks. First of all, I do love the fact that he's out and about and he's hanging with fans and enjoying the city. He's not going to be able to do that forever. It's going to get crazy for him. It's probably already crazy, but the fact that he's doing it now with Rome Odunze at Wrigley, outside of Wrigley, at Oak Crow, I think all that's sweet. Now, if I want to go old man Carm right now, which I'm very capable of, and I'm about to, I want him, when they're doing Green Bay sucks, do I want him to in my perfect non-confrontational, don't poke at the bear Green Bay thing, just to switch it to maybe have him do one of a little hand thing. How about let's go Bears, something along that line, rather than going at Green Bay when you've done absolutely nothing. Poppy agrees apparently. I would that's what I would have preferred myself.
That would have been the most loser viral clip.
I wish I had my cigars in my backpack, because that's not the Jordan mentality. In the last
when
dance,
did Jordan ever say?
Jordan's got the cigar in his mouth. He's holding the baseball bat, and he's like, the sign of a real champ is when he can talk shit when he's down, when the chips are stacked against him.
He hasn't played an NFL game.
It's easy to talk shit when it's even score. You're up.
Also, I think we're missing the whole point of this. Caleb is cool as hell.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out in the
He's just
city.
having fun.
Agreed.
Middle of OTA's
Well, it was
minicamp.
they were all there as rookies at Wrigley.
I know, but they have to go to the bar afterwards.
Right. Well, the
and
game got
showcase
rain.
themselves.
Exactly. The game got rain delayed, and he was supposed to throw out the first pitch, and that all got screwed up. So instead of just rushing home, him and Rome started hitting up the town, which was cool.
And it's not like he went crazy, because he showed up unannounced at DJ Moore's football camp the next day.
Yep.
So, yeah, good.
I started that soliloquy saying that I think it's cool that he was out, for the record.
Okay.
Great soliloquy by me. One of my best.
Last thing I want to say on this, the part that has nothing to do with Caleb, because I saw the comments on our tweet of the video at Wrigley of another Green Bay sucks chant, and was full transparency. Was my first reaction to roll my eyes when I saw another video of our guys out there at the 120 Club chanting Green Bay sucks? Yes, it was. Do I have a problem with anybody doing that? No. Because it's sports. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. Who cares if people are chanting whatever they're chanting, if they're booing, they're cheering? All I have to say, though, is if you're going to do it, you have to deal with the ramifications of it. And it's also completely fair game for all the Packers fans every time they see a video of the Bears fans chanting Green Bay sucks, which, by the way, Green Bay does suck. I have family up there. I've been up there many times. I got a wedding up there in a few months. Not a great place. Lambeau's cool. Green Bay does suck. And now because I just said that, do I know I'm going to have a bunch of comments in my Twitter? Yes, because that's the ramifications of me saying that.
Hell yeah,
or doing that chant. So there's nothing wrong with the chant, but just know if you do it, Peter Bukowski's going to be in my mentions later. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do a Bukowski sucks chant?
No, I know.
I mean, we could go Green Bay sucks chant right now. We could just end the show, just chant it for the next 10 minutes. Look, It's not about whether or not they're good or better than us, better than the Bears. It's about the fact that it's fun. That's
Yes.
it's a
And
rivalry.
It's okay to have fun.
Yes, you're in the bleachers.
Yeah.
The Green Bay sucks chant in the middle after your 6th beer, Crown and Coke, whatever the hell's going on over to my left over there. It's a beautiful choice.
Yeah.
Which is also, little transition here, being completely lost in this whole Caitlin Clark versus the Sky thing.
Right.
Because I'm sitting there watching that game Saturday. First of all, here's my first thought.
Wow.
And the most important thing.
What a segue. Yes.
I'm sitting there on a Saturday watching a WNBA game in June. Have I ever
Unbelievable.
done that in my life?
The whole country was.
No. Now, also fair point. Had it not been pouring buckets of water for 9 straight hours, would I have been sitting there watching that game? No, I would not have been watching that game.
Maybe.
All due
Maybe a
respect.
little
I would have saw the highlights later.
You still had 7 million options of what you could have watched on your TV,
Yes.
and you chose the Sky.
And I'm sitting there watching that as it's happening. Okay, now, so I think that's the first key point of that whole discussion, is that so many people are watching and caring about this. My second reaction was, because I don't watch the WNBA that much, is the WNBA always the 1990s NBA? Like, is this normal?
yeah,
It's
I don't-
but it's fun.
They should lean into it more.
It's fun. I got no problem with it. Was that shot from Kennedy Carter's her name? Kennedy?
that's right. Kennedy Carter.
I'm not pretending to be a WNBA expert.
You nailed it. Kennedy Carter. Yep.
Did that cross the line? Hell yeah, it did. That was a dirty play. It was completely unnecessary.
Correct.
It should have been a flagrant foul. Did I like that she had nothing to say about it after the game? Not particularly.
You
Do I
can't.
care that much about it? Not really. But you can't go on Twitter 2 hours later or whenever it was and then tweet about it after you refuse to talk about it in a press conference. That's a bad look.
Weak.
And by the way, Teresa Witherspoon came out with a statement like right before our show started, like kind of clearing the air. Because you also, if you're...
What did she say? Because I was not happy
She
with.
said that those
talked
actions aren't what they want to do.
Yeah, her actions are not what we want to do either. Teresa Witherspoon, Hall of Famer, whatever, great coach, I suppose. I don't really know. Seems certainly had a great career. When they're asking Kennedy Carter at the podium about it, I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark. And then there's another question, and then the head coach steps in. That's enough.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
No.
Yeah.
No. She can handle herself.
Yeah.
You're not the PR person. You're the head coach of the team.
But she's allowed to as the head coach of the team.
Well,
so
she's
that's
allowed
enough.
to, but the reporter also
I
could have
don't-
ignored what she said and kept asking more questions.
Sure.
Not that I'm saying that reporter should
Right.
have.
That's.
It's just it was a weird interaction all around.
I didn't.
Well, and,
like it.
and Angel Reese got fined for not
And-
going
yeah.
to the press conference too. So that was my whole thing, was like, in regards, and I know this
How do
is
we get
our
here?
WNBA show, but yeah, no, I mean, to me, I think the whole thing is, I think they should lean into all of it: the rivalry, the physicality, the chippiness towards each other. Screw it, like
Better
to
rivalries.
me, it builds more intrigue. Like,
Well,
you know,
and that was the segue
what
that's what I was going for here. Was like, yes, Caitlin Clark was talking shit too. That was cool. And then it ended with a flagrant foul. That's fine. That's like every game Draymond Green plays in all the time.
Right.
Okay, like it doesn't have to be this big deal. Like, okay, it should have been a flagrant foul. Honestly, you could have made a case that she should have been ejected. I don't necessarily know that it rose to that level, but like, and then there could have been a cool press conference where they both talk about it, and then everyone can move on. Like, I don't understand why this has become such a weird, like, polarizing thing, way beyond just like, let's enjoy the fact that the WNBA is interesting, that all these figures involved in it are making entertainment, which is what this all is. What
Right.
this discussion included, it's all what we're doing here. And if someone wants to not make a comment and then or not show up and then get fined, like, it's all part of it. But like, I know I can't wait for the next time these two teams play. I'm gonna be watching that.
June 16th, I think.
Better rivalry: Indiana Fever, Chicago Sky, Bears Packers.
And then there's that.
How close is the Fever and the Sky to the Bears and the Packers?
Fever sucks. Fever sucks.
Careful,
Will
our guy Joe won't be happy with you.
Will
Sorry,
Chicago
Joe.
embrace the badass Sky, the bad girl Sky? They should be talking about that on the Sky Pod. Bad boys, bad girl Sky. Bad girls,
They're
bad
the
girls.
Pistons, but
What you gonna do?
the
We're
Pistons leaned into it.
We're the Pistons.
Okay.
Kennedy Carter's Bill Laimbeer.
Well, maybe.
Angel Reese is Rick Mahorn. Dennis Rodman.
Look, I don't want this guy to have this reputation though for being like the dirty team in the league.
But somebody said in the chat earlier, "Oh, this WNBA is like '90s NBA." That'd probably be a good place to be. The '90s NBA
saying.
was great. So have the rivalries, have the physicality, talk shit. I don't care.
Let's go all the
I think
way-
it's great. It's great TV.
Let's go all the way back to the 80s. Let's get Robert Parrish literally nearly killing Bill Laimbeer. That was amazing. That probably nobody gets that reference on the show because I'm
gonna
from the era.
Can I give a different shout out too?
Yeah, go ahead.
A little bit more serious, but I promise this turns into a fun story. So shout out to my brother-in-law who I spent some time with this morning. Who suffered a stroke back on April 22nd. He's over at Shirley Ryan here in Chicago, getting his ass kicked in some therapy. He's kicking ass right back. And I hadn't seen him in, I don't know, a week and a half or something at this point. So, every day he's getting a little bit better, which is great. But he's still dealing with aphasia, so, communication's tough right now. But he was trying to tell me something. And my sister and I are there and, couldn't figure it out. And he's able to write some things down now when he can't communicate verbally with what he's trying to get out. Unfortunately, it's his right arm that he doesn't have a ton of movement in right now, and he's a righty. So he's, having to write left-handed, which I know I can't
amazing.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I ran in the bathroom, and I came back, and he had written this down. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, 1545. What?
He's trolling the White Sox.
It's the White Sox record.
Yes.
What an asshole.
He's a Cub fan?
He's a Brewers fan.
Oh.
But they just swept the White Sox
That's
over the
amazing.
weekend.
All right, Marcus. Way to go, man.
So he's got his sense of humor still in there. And then
beautiful.
meanwhile, but here's the almost the better part, other than that just being hilarious to bring up the record of 15-45. But then he was like, seriously, he was like, no, how? Like he's saying that to me, how? Like basically, how are they 15-45? And I'm just like, I don't know. They're that ridiculous. And that whole thing.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
You could have told him. You could have done a deep dive to him about Pedro Grifol and.
Say don't let John Schriffen hear about this.
Well, actually, I was asking him. He was watching the game yesterday, and because he's in Chicago, he had to watch the White Sox broadcast, and so I unloaded my thoughts on that whole thing on him too, which I did on Twitter last night as well.
You should have played him the Tommy Pham video from yesterday.
Oh, the post game?
Yeah, which if you haven't seen it, everyone go to CHGO_White Sox on Twitter or check out our YouTube page. It's on as a short as well. It is worth the watch. Multiple expletives. He is pissed.
Who?
Tommy Pham.
Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Kind of the theme of this whole show. Why did that have to be a thing yesterday? It's a baseball play. And in the context of that entire inning, you have one team who's really good and in first place. The dumb team committed the first out at third base, which you're not supposed to do, then got bad luck with the ground rule double, which happens to bad teams, and then had a dumb decision to send the runner home on third on a shallow fly ball, which to Tommy Pham's point, should have resulted in him getting thrown out. And for the Brewers, it was everything in a one-run game because they're actually competitive, and it was a good play. It was clean all around. If anything, Tommy Pham looked like he kind of came inside when he could have avoided a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, and so Contreras is just fired up about it, and that's okay. It's sports. So I don't know why we need the play-by-play guy doing a SNL skit of Hawk Harrelson getting all crazy about it. It was wild. Why can't it just be a good baseball play?
I found myself fully entertained by Tommy Pham. That was my takeaway. Well, as you know, in the offseason, I spend 1 million hours a day trying to learn how to kick the living daylights out of everyone. And okay, Tommy Pham, okay, buddy, I'm not messing with you. I saw him in the White Sox clubhouse once this year, and he was full of intimidation. Tommy, can we talk to you? No, you cannot. Okay. Okay.
Damn it. Tommy Pham, please kick Mark Carman's ass the next time you see him in the locker room. What do I got? What charity do I need to donate to make this happen?
That's
I mean, Tommy Pham could be if this was a bad Bears team, he could like have a, like backup safety role. Just go out there
God, 47 days until training camp starts. 97 days until week 1. Like this, it's off season, summertime. So, we're getting through it here, ladies and gents. We got mini camp tomorrow, which
Yes.
I'm very excited to hear the reports. It's mandatory, so everybody's going to be there. Full pass rush, all the DBs. So we're gonna find out a little more about our football team here the next 3 days. So it'll be exciting to see the ebbs and flows of who wins each day.
Yeah, I always talk about this. The hardest thing about OTAs is that beyond the fact that they're in shorts and no pads and you got to take that all with a grain of salt. We're getting one glimpse at one of the practices from a week, and in football you're trying to stack days. And so the nice thing about mini camp is we'll be able to watch all 3 practices in a row here, and there'll be a little bit more of a flow comparable to training camp. It's still a small sample size, but gives us a little snippet of over the course of 3 days what things will look like. We, of course, will be there every single day. We will have practice recap shows for you every single day as we do. Nicholas Moriano will be out there with myself and Mark Carman, and we're aiming for a 4 p.m. show. So set your alerts, your timers, your notifications, 4 p.m. Practices are also a little longer during minicamp, so that's part of that too.
Shout out to Tom outside the Swiss Hotel in Upper Wacker on Saturday, who I was just walking down the street with the great Poppy the puppy. And
See, if you were a real man of the people, you would have been on Lower Wacker getting the shout outs from those people.
I hang out. Don't do that to me. I know Lower Wacker as well as anybody. I've spent a lot of time down there, dating all the way back to when Steve Cochran had me chase down Carol Marine when she spent her last day at Channel 5 when I was an intern.
Get to know a lot about somebody when you find out if they're a Lower Wacker.
Lower Wacker.
Lower Wacker or Upper Wacker, Greg?
What about it? What?
He doesn't know where
Lower
that is.
Wacker. No, I dropped him off at where he got his car, towed?
You did take me to the
that's the
cartel.
lower Wacker.
And honestly, doing
that's
that
different
with
level.
him, it finally made sense to me because then it shot me out to Lakeshore Drive. We came in right over here, and then we snaked right through the heart of it, and it shot me right out on Lakeshore Drive over by Navy Pier. And that was the first time that Lower Wacker actually made sense to me, where I was going. So that was helpful, actually.
Anyway, shout out to Tom, who said hello to the show. Very nice of him. And shout out to TJ and Carla at the Cub game yesterday, who didn't know anything about the show, but they said I told them about the show, and then they said they would listen to the show if I bought them a beer. So I did, and they said they'd be in the chat today. And I don't see them there. I don't see you, TJ. I don't see you, Carla. But I'm still shouting you out as I just want to let you guys know that I'm literally buying beers to get us listeners because that's my dedication to the show and you guys because I love you.
Here you go, buddy.
What is this?
Please do that so we can end the show.
Oh,
What?
come on. Right now?
You want to wait till tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
We can't.
I didn't know that there was so much prep that went into this.
Listen, I don't. We
got diehards?
We have some new diehards, but the level of expertise.
What about one? Can you give us one?
I'll give you one.
Can we get one?
I'll talk to you about Riley.
How about Riley?
I'll talk to you about. I'll talk to you about
Riley. He built the Lakers, and
no, you stay.
and he's
in your
still
lane.
strong.
You stay.
I'm trying to do Carm's idiocy here.
No, listen. Look, Riley. What do you want? What can you say about Riley? Certainly,
Only you can do it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Riley's just somebody that when he shows up, you know he's there. Smooth looking.
That was stupid.
It's not true. It's
the opposite of Mark.
That's correct. Riley
When he shows up, you don't really know if he's there.
Right.
Riley is a man with a purpose. Riley comes in.
Slick back hair.
Pristine. Phenomenal clothes. But what's underrated about Riley is that he's a competitor. It's not just the pretty looks. It's the fact that he'll get in there and be as grimy as possible to get it done. Riley can do things the fancy way. He can do it the old-fashioned way. Riley,
He'll coach your quarterback up. Lincoln Riley.
Riley, I mean, at the end of the day, Riley's about winning. Any way, shape, or form, however he's got to get it done, that's what he's going to do. And that's why we appreciate Riley. And Riley, welcome to the Die Hard family. We appreciate you, Riley.
Brian and Chris, thank you also becoming diehards. We promise you a much longer and much weirder welcome tomorrow on the show. So Riley, Brian, and Chris are new diehards. Today, we got some super chats to close out the day as well. Bear Down Omaha, $2, saying extend the Carm. There has been an underground movement, I should say, of a hashtag pay Carm situation. It's been it's a very low-level operation on Reddit.
I'm sure that's it's news to me. I'm good to hear. Thank you. I'd love to know all about that whenever you have time.
Yeah, the Orozco's living life with $2 here, saying bye-bye polls, hello Brags, brick by brick.
Don't do that.
Don't do
that. Poles doing great.
Roscoe trying to fire Poles to make Braggs the GM?
Nobody.
Now you could have had
nobody
me
wants
over,
that.
You could have had me over Pace, and we wouldn't have drafted Mitch.
Oh boy. Alex Amerling with $2. A lot of $2 super chats today. Hopefully we extend him soon. I'm sure that's in reference to DJ Moore. B Demp 7 with $2. Is Keenan the slot in 11 and on the bench in 12? I think there's going to be a combination of a lot of different things.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think what I like about all three of these wide receivers is all three of them can move and are interchangeable. So I as much as, you got your X and Y and slot and all that, I think each of them can play each spot pretty well as well.
I think the easier way to think about this right now, though, is clearly DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are the top two, and Rome Odunze is still a rookie. And he's the third wide receiver. And not to say that there won't be some plays where maybe Keenan Allen's out and Rome Odunze's in. I mean, you want to play him. But much better situation to even have that than needing to have that conversation and not having to talk about, how many snaps Byron Pringle's going to get.
Yeah, Keenan Allen last year played out of the slot. On a per-game basis, it was actually a career year, so it's probably better, especially now he's getting a little older too.
Football CF Candy, $4.99 pound sterling. Hey, guys, just want to know when you will have a chance to speak to Poles next. The D-line badly needs help. Calais Campbell, Yannick Ngakoue might be enough, in my opinion.
No idea.
I believe Poles, the next time Poles will talk will be the start of training camp.
That sounds right.
Yep.
And that was when the Bears got Yannick Ngakoue last year, was the start of training camp.
That was like mid-August.
DeMarcus Walker's going to have an unbelievable year this year. I saw
10 days into training camp, something
I
like
thought
that?
it was like literally the day they started camp. But life's moving fast over here at CHGO Sports.
Crystal Simone, the best, the GOAT, $4.99. Hey, guys, just sending love. It's the best week ever. My birthday's Wednesday.
Wow.
Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Carm, check your Instagram.
I'm on it, Crystal. Happy early birthday, and we will have something special for you on Wednesday.
Happy early birthday. Her birthday's Wednesday. You can wish her a happy birthday on Wednesday. Happy early birthday.
I said.
What is this?
Did you hear the whole sentence? I said we'll have something special for you on Wednesday. Did I not?
He took issue that you said early birthday. I would like to point out that it's birthday.
What did I
Not
say?
birth week,
Yeah.
not birth month.
Right.
It is
Birthday.
an early.
I know. My daughter, her birthday was on Friday, and
still
then we
going on.
proceeded to celebrate it for 3 days. Had 6 parties.
Now, my daughter, she got Friday when Bears practice was over.
That's right. Our daughters both share the same birthday.
That's adorable.
So, like, this
Carm
multiple
came to the party.
birthday days thing.
I support it with a gift. Damn it.
Actually, Carm, underrated, came through with the best gift.
Really?
That's right, buddy. I
Something
didn't get Addie anything, but that's probably because of you.
Mm-hmm.
I owe Addie a gift. When do I see you next?
No, it's okay. She has enough crap.
Yeah.
Get Crystal something.
What did I get you, Mr. Bubbles, Mr. Snuggles, Bubble Snuggles?
You don't even know what you got her. You didn't get me anything.
I gave you my love.
Yeah. You got, it was like these little kitties that you can paint, which is what all 3-year-old girl needs. That's all she needed.
She was geeked up. She got right into it.
She didn't need the 5 other giant things that ended up in my house. She just needed Carm to show up with kitties that you can paint because she's 3.
Way to go, Livy.
Jose Estrada, $4.99. Do you think Caleb gets the ref calls that Justin didn't?
Let's hope so, Jose.
I hope so, yes, because I'm not going to be able to handle that anymore. Caleb's a different style quarterback, so I think he will be treated more like, a pocket passer would, even though he can run. We're just guessing until they start playing. All right, we're out of here.
You want to bring Poppy out for a goodbye or what? I mean, we're not going to let her say goodbye.
I'll go get her.
Just let her out and see if she runs right to me because it's just that's how the world should be. Just come right to me. Right here.
Hi, Bobby.
Right here. Up here.
Yeah. Up here. Oh, I tried.
Okay. Jesus. It's okay. All right.
Slam your dog's head.
She turned it around. She
kind
of turned it around.
Oh
It
no!
was pretty quiet after the first 5 minutes of the show.
You got fired today, buddy. But so say goodbye.
Speak.
Now you have the microphone in front of you. Speak.
Bye.
Later, pup.
Probably gonna
Poppy's
go.
cool dog.
Attack.
No. All right. 4 o'clock tomorrow. Sound cool?
Gonna be a
Greg's
big-
got After Dark tonight.
Oh yeah, Bragg's with a big topic too.
After dark tonight, my guy from 79th and Hallis, Scott Lewis, is going to be jumping on.
Don't. I want that on the record.
Yeah.
You know exactly where I'm going.
Okay.
That's
For the
awesome.
record, the look that Carmen and I just gave each other, that was bad timing, was for whatever Poppy was doing down here.
was Poppy?
And not the guest that you just mentioned on coming on the show.
Yeah.
We're fired. Who's coming on?
Scott Lewis.
Oh, Scott
covers
Lewis.
the Bears.
79th and Hallis.
Yeah, 79th and Hallis. Those guys do a great job. So he's going to jump on, give us a little bit of his insight from what he saw at, OTAs last week, what to expect from minicamp. Hippie Nerd asking in the chat what time. That'll be 7 p.m. Central. Me and Woot will be there talking about, how Caleb, looked last week and what to expect here this week going into minicamp. Having a little fun here tonight, getting Woot's perspective. Always appreciated.
7 o'clock tonight, and we're back tomorrow at 4 with a practice recap show after Bears mini camp. We'll talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.